This is an old style carburetor. Before the modern fuel injection and etc., this was how all of our cars ran for about the first 80 years of their existence. When we stepped on the gas, it moved this, and air was allowed to go into the engine through the carburetor. Now, the carburetor is full of gasoline, and as the air is going by, it would pick up that gasoline and then get distributed throughout the engine. The old carburetor. I still love them, but they're dinosaurs. These are pistons. When you say that I have a V6 or a V8, it is 6 cylinders, 8 cylinders, and it is these pistons that are in the cylinders. These things go up and down very rapidly, thousands of times a minute. Thousands of times. Faster than this. And when the piston goes down, it leaves a space above it, and air that we all enjoy is racing to fill that space where this piston just was. Now, I've rigged up a little demonstration to show you about how the movement of air really is dramatic. So just pardon me for a moment, I'm going to start my car. Can someone explain what just happened? Why did these bottles go like that? Thank you. Yes, young man in the front.
We shouldn't be laughing.
Vacuum from the engine. Suck the air out of the bottle.
Exactly. Exactly. Vacuum. And not like, unlike the vacuum that we do to dog hair and stuff, but vacuum, everything in our life has got air against it, atmospheric pressure against it, and it's on the outside of the bottle and it's also on the inside of the bottle. So I've removed the atmospheric pressure out of the middle or the inside of the bottle, and it just automatically, the air pressure from outside, just wash this thing. Routine. Now, the vacuum that we've had over the years, the last 80 years, the carburetor, served us well. We were able to control it. We were able to regulate it, the vacuum. It helped operate a lot of our devices on these modern cars, and it still does. It really still does. But a lot of it's been replaced now with electronics. And the modern vehicles are just marvels of electronics. Mike, you see it every day, and you're pulling your hair out every day.
More so on the top.
Yes. The modern car depends on sensors, input sensors. When I say that, they feed information to the computer, the UCM, electronic control modulator. Some of the input sensors are temperature sensors. The computer has got to know what the temperature is right here, or what the temperature of the engine is. That's very critical. The computer has to know also the throttle position. What's your driver demanding of it? Is it just sitting there idling, or is it going down the highway at 110 kilometers an hour? Computer has to adjust for that. Throttle position. The O2 sensors that are in the exhaust system, it measures the oxygen that the engine is leaving unburned. So the computer will adjust for that. And that's an input sensor. A couple more are the airflow sensors. That also is on a driver demand. You know, if you got your foot in it, you want more air, computer senses that. More gas, computer operates that. And then the mass air pressure, the vacuum, the load. That's what the computer operates, or also senses that. Am I doing okay here so far, Mike? Yep. Those are impact sensors, input sensors. Now, that computer gets all that information, and it tells the fuel system how much fuel we're going to need at this very moment. Hey, we're sitting here, we're just idling, we're just started the car, so we don't need a lot of gas. So the computer will send an electrical signal to the injectors and saying, well, you only have to be open for about 2 milliseconds because we don't need a lot of gas. If you were going down the highway, you would demand a bit more gas. So now that computer would tell the injectors, hey, we need you to be open for maybe 5 or 6 milliseconds. So that gives you more fuel because you're asking more power, you want to go faster. The computer also operates the ignition system, the coil on plug. I ripped this off from my friend Tori today. This is a typical coil on a plug. This goes right down into the spark plugs, and this little port here is where the computer sends their signal to this coil. Each cylinder has got one of these. If it's a V6, you'll have 6 of these. If it's a V8, you'll have obviously 8. But this is a very common coil on plug arrangement. So the computer operates 8 coils. The computer also is able to help us with the fuel economy, the fuel mileage. The engineers have directed the computer to operate on 8 cylinders, and when the conditions allow it, when there's no demand or conditions are just right, it'll pull that engine down to half operating. It'll go down to 4 cylinders. So you're only using half as much gas because you're only operating half as many cylinders. Another example of some of the fuel saving devices. How many here have got a vehicle that shuts off at a red light? You like it?
No.
Not, I haven't heard a good thing about it. But that's part of the factory's idea of saving gas. Sitting there, you're maybe a minute, sometimes it's longer. Certainly when you're in a hurry, you're sitting there a lot longer than when you want to get going.
That's temperature control too, though.
It is, eh?
Yes.
Okay, I have never had much of it.
Well, if it's below like 8 degrees, like it won't shut off. Or if your AC is on, it won't shut off.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for that, Barry. So, certainly the input sensors that I was speaking of, and sending that information to the computer instantly adjusts for it and operates the fuel injectors, the spark, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a great system. It's incredible how they work in conjunction together, and that we're able to get amazing reliability on these modern vehicles. Amazing reliability. You know, it could be a nasty cold winter morning and you have your little key fob in your hand and you point it to where your car is, and then the lights come on and it's running, not plugged in. Oh. Remember the old days? Is there anybody old enough?
Yeah.
Remember the old days?
It doesn't always work though.
Yeah.
Always work magic like that.
There's other sensors that get involved, that are involved in the modern vehicle. I'll quickly go by them here. Oil quality. There's a sensor in the oil pan. They've had that since, well, I had one in '05 that tells you the oil level, the oil pressure, the oil quality. If you're buying junky oil, it'll store that in the computer. It'll throw a fault code and it'll store it. And if there's ever a warranty issue with that engine, the dealer will go to that stored information right away and say, hey, you were using junky oil. We're not going to honor this warranty of your wore out engine, and save themselves $20,000. You're not getting it because you weren't using the right oil. That's a very common thing now. Fuel quality. Dave and a few of our other friends went down to Minot in the just past weekend. We're very, I don't know, we do see a lot of ethanol fuel, which is 7 or 8, 9% of its total volume. In the States, E85 is quite common. Ethanol, 85%. So that means 15% is gasoline and E85. I hope it doesn't come here. You'll see on the side of these newer vehicles, flex fuel.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see that little sign. There's a sensor in the fuel system that'll say to the computer, hey, you've got E85,
Thank you.
or you've got just regular ethanol. And it'll switch the fuel settings on the system, because you need more fuel when it goes F80 or E85. Other sensors that we deal with every day, speed sensors, proximity sensors. Sometimes it's a very good thought when you get up to 20 kilometers an hour and your power locks come on. It surely does. Proximity sensors, you don't want to open up the door because there's a bicyclist right beside you or a car coming at you. So they'll give you a little beep or a little warning. Tire pressure sensors, those are becoming very common. And right down to windshield washer level, antifreeze level sensors, your door is ajar sensors, seat belts, sensors. The modern cars have got other computers involved with them too. What we've been talking about so far is mostly related to the engine operation, but there's transmission, driveline. Computers do the shifting. You just put it in drive, and the computer does the rest. Some of these modern vehicles are 8 and 10 speed transmissions. So that thing is always shifting, always giving you the maximum speed of your engine. Save you mileage, save you fuel. Traction control is part of that too. ABS brakes. We're going to get to the point here pretty soon. We're going to wake up in the morning and there'll be a nice little dust of snow, and you're going to get that feeling on your foot brake, eh? What happens there? What's going on when that thing shudders like that?
Anti-lock brakes?
Anti-lock brakes. What is it? What's happening?
Releasing and applying.
Say again?
Releasing and applying.
Releasing and applying, yes.
So you're not locking the wheel up.
Do not lock the wheel up, because you lose control. Braking and steering, you lose control when your wheels are skidding or locked up. So the ABS, anti-lock brake system, ABS, will release the brake pressure.
Okay.
And it does that about, I don't know, 500 times a second.
Faster than you can.
Faster than you can. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's controlled by the computer. Some of the more other obscure operations of a computer operating the car is the body computer, the power lock that I mentioned about, the charging system, the heater operation. You set it at max cold, computer takes over from there. That thing cycles in and out all the time. Computer and the sensors. It's all great when they're working. But how many have seen the check engine light come on?
A few times.
Sure, a few times. That is the computer's way of telling the operator, the car owner, that, hey, there's something wrong. And just because we're driving and, you know, as normal, there is still something wrong. That little light doesn't come on for nothing. There's lots of causes that make it a check engine light. Some of the more recent ones are the fuel cap. You know, there's a kind of a ratcheting, clicking motion on the fuel cap. If it's not exactly to that last click, it's going to allow air inside the gas tank. And it's going to sense that it can't create a vacuum because it's pulling air from outside. And it says, well, let's throw the check engine light on, because the fuel cap isn't on tight. Some of them don't even have fuel caps. The factory sure fixed that, didn't they?
Yeah, the newer cars don't have a cap. No.
All right. I'm on to page 2. Hey, look at that.